Good afternoon, viewers and listeners of Concerned Citizens Media. Welcome back, and nice to have you here. I have two topics or two news to discuss. One is the Biden administration's serious discussion on Ethiopia, especially placing visa restriction on Ethiopian military and civilian officials, plus the Eritreans. The second one is the Oromo Diaspora Community demonstration in London, and their message for Abiy Ahmed and his supporters, plus for the Oromo communities living elsewhere. So I have this, then some videos at the end. Let's get started. May 22, 2021. Action, 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 and action was the calls on Ethiopia and Eritrean government. Now, that call start getting answers from the Biden administration. After intensive several months of diplomatic pressure and consultation on Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia, the United States is on a serious discussion to place various visa restriction on Ethiopia and Eritrean officials for their roles in the war crimes and other atrocities happened in Tigray region, Ethiopia. So after several attempts to resolve the issue through diplomacy, the Biden administration sent Senator Chris Coons, Mr. Jeffrey Feltman, and other delegation to Ethiopia and Eritrea, Sudan, Egypt. So the Abiy administration gave a deaf ear to this diplomatic pressure. So now the United States is in a serious discussion to do something. And this announcement came from FP, Foreign Affairs. Let's directly read from this news. U.S. President Joe Biden administration is planning to target Ethiopian and Eritrean officials with visa restriction in an opening diplomatic salvo against Ethiopia Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's government over atrocities committed in the Tigray region's conflict. U.S. officials and congressional aides familiar with the matter tell Foreign Policy. So this is reported by Foreign Policy. The visa restriction represents a potential turning point in U.S.-Ethiopia relations, which have steadily soured since a conflict erupted in the northern Tigray region of the country last November. The conflict has sparked widespread reports of atrocities, possible mass violence along ethnic lines, and war crimes committed against civilian populations by forces in Ethiopia and neighboring Eritrea. The visa restrictions are seen as a shot across the bow, signaling mounting U.S. frustration with Abiy for his handling of the conflict and the failure to address mounting international concerns over the ensuing humanitarian crisis. Officials and congressional aides familiar with the matter said the Biden administration plans to further ratchet up pressure on Abiy Ahmed on other ways, including upholding a halt on U.S. security assistance funding to Ethiopia and targeting World Bank and International Monetary Fund programs in the country. It's not only about the visa restriction on officials. It's the United States also looking through international monetary funding and World Bank to do something, to apply pressure. Officials said there are ongoing discussions about possible leveling sanctions against Ethiopian and Eritrean officials complicit in the Tigray atrocities, but no final decision have been made. Okay, the serious discussion is still going on. So who will be targeted? You know, it's not final decision yet. Okay, the list could include range of officials from individual Ethiopian and Eritrean soldiers to military field commanders to middle-level political figures in the country. So who will be targeted financially or visa restrictions? Eritreans and Ethiopians military officials from mid-level to high-level commanders and other political figures in the country. The State Department didn't respond to a request for comment, including questions on who will be targeted by the visa restriction. The Ethiopian embassy in Washington didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. So it's a discussion, as I said, no final decision yet, but it's already it's a serious discussion going on. When they make the final decision, we're gonna find out who will be targeted by this International Monetary Fund or World Bank, or what kind of visa restriction. So we'll see. So on Friday, the Ethiopian government announced it convicted 3 soldiers of rape and one of killing a civilian. The first public statement that the member of its military were found guilty of committing crimes in Tigray. Over 2 dozen more soldiers stand trial on charges of rape and the killing of civilians, reported by Reuters. So this is a new development by Ethiopian government, maybe to ease the pressure, U.S. pressure or Western pressure. So they are putting some military officials on trial and convicted some for rape after denying all these charges for many months now. The Abiy administration is try to show the world, yeah, we are doing, so we are convicted even the soldiers who committed a crime. Too little, too late, maybe, we will see, but they are doing something to avert these diplomatic and other pressures. The Senate on Thursday anonymously passed a resolution calling for immediate withdrawal of Eritrean forces from Tigray, a move that followed a CNN investigation revealing Eritrean troops disguised as Ethiopian military units blocking humanitarian aid deliveries to Tigray. So these are the pressure still continues through the Senate and other diplomatic pressure, plus the European Union pressure. So the pressure will continue, and Abiy also try to do something, to ease it in one way, but in other way, He is trashing the United States like youngsters with no credible history. He is throwing some words against the United States without using the name U.S. It's indirectly. It's directly attacking, but without using the name United States in his speech addressing two different events in the last week or so. So he is trashing. He is saying some bad words, instead of dealing the situation, the serious situations happening in the country. He is galvanizing Ethiopians for unnecessary confrontation with the U.S. and other Western countries. He's telling, Ethiopia will not bound to pressure, and Ethiopia is never been colonized. It's a good history, but I don't know if it's necessary for this confrontation. So he is doing everything to galvanize the people to get the public support for unnecessary fight with the United States and other Western countries. And the concerned citizens media said before, these are unnecessary confrontation. Do something that the global community is demanding, independent investigation, and bringing those criminals into trials, the removal of the Eritreans and the Amara special forces from the Tigray region, from the area they captured through the so-called law and order operation. That's fake. There's no law and order. It's a military war. So these are the demands, and we will see who will be targeted by this visa restriction, International Monetary Fund, and World Bank, plus other means to bring change in that country, especially in the Tigray. I know the focus is on Tigray, but there is undeclared or unreported war going on in Benishangul, in Oromia for more than 2 years. So we need attention over there too. We have no independent media reporting what is happening in Oromia and the Benishangul Gumuz area. So the country is going to the toilet, going to down into the grave under Abiy Ahmed leadership. And the Ethiopians, some of them, they are following Abiy Ahmed and carrying out his order, even though they know it's wrong, but still they are following his order. So that is Foreign Policy Magazine reports on restriction. That's enough. Let's go to the London Oromo community protest. The Oromo Diaspora Community living in London and other European countries came out in a huge number and denounced the Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia. The protesters were chanting the following crucial and relevant slogans. Abiy Ahmed must go. Abiy Ahmed is a killer. No justice in Oromia, no peace in Ethiopia. Free Johar Mohammed, free Bakala Garba, free Abdi Ragasa, free Mikhail Boran, free all Oromo political prisoners and thousands of other Oromos arbitrarily mass arrested by the dictator Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia. Justice for Hachalu Hundessa and other Oromos murdered by the killers in Ethiopia. Free Oromia, free Oromia and its people. The United Kingdom, USA, and other countries stopped supporting the dictators and the killers in Ethiopia. The protesters also called on all Oromo diaspora communities living in other countries to strengthen their unity and fight against the tyrant in power in Ethiopia, and to continue their movement or resistance until total freedom is achieved in Oromia. Concerned Citizens Media also calls on Ethiopia to Concerned Citizens Media also calls on all Oromos to speak with one voice against the brutal dictators and the killers in Ethiopia. Do everything possible and everything you can to ease the life-threatening conditions the Oromos are facing every day in Ethiopia under Abiy Ahmed's leadership. So the pressure should mount on Abiy Ahmed and those killers in Ethiopia. There shouldn't be no slowdown, because nothing is changing. People are, Oromos are killed in a public view by killing squads. And also the family of the killed arrested. This is a different kind of enemy we have. They kill Oromos, and when the Oromos mourn, they arrested them, the whole family. So it's a very tough situation. You guys, no need to slow down your fight, because nothing is changed. The pressure must continue through all means, through financial means, to support the armed struggle, through diplomatic pressure, through protests, through lobbying and other activities. So the Oromos living abroad, I know the ones living in back home, they are under tough conditions to protest, but the ones we are outside the Ethiopia, we are free to do. We have a freedom to express our anger, our frustration, our disappointment with this leader in Ethiopia. So we need to do everything to bring change in that country, to stop the killing of Oromos. Abiy Ahmed is order to kill operations on Oromos, as you might already knew from different media outlets. So we are in a tough situation. We have to do like the Oromo diaspora communities in London. We have to continue our protest in the United States, Canada, Australia. We did, but we have to continue. We have to continue. Taking break is okay, but the pressure should continue. The fight should continue. The resistance movement should continue until all Oromos are free from this tyrant, from these killers, and from these dictators, until the Oromos decide for their own. So that is the message. Please do everything. Speak one voice. Don't speak against each other. Don't oppose each other. Don't do that. That will create crack and slow down the freedom movement. So please speak with one voice to stop the bloodshed in Oromia, to fasten the freedom for Oromos and Oromia. So that is my message, and let's see some videos and conclude today's presentation. Thank you again for your time. A little bit from London, then I have pro-Palestinian protest in, I think it's in the UK. Also, the war in Tigray is not over. You see some TPLF soldiers entering some cities. I have a short video for that one too. The war is not over. Even though Abiy and his administration keep lying to Ethiopians and to the global community shamelessly. They don't feel shame. I don't know. This is a very tough leadership. You might lie a little bit, but you cannot keep lying. That's not leadership. Let's see a little bit from Oromo community protest. Okay, that's so that's the it's a long video. So if you are interested, you can go to Kelo Media, watch the whole thing, and they're calling for freedom of Oromia, free all Oromos, justice for Hachalu, Emmanuel Wandemu, and others. So they calling, you know, the UK government not to support terrorist government in Ethiopia. We are Oromos, we are from Oromia. So the message continues, and you know, it's encouraging to see the London Oromo Diaspora doing it. Where, you know, we need to do it again and again in Canada, Australia, the United States, and other parts of the world, until Oromos are free and Oromia is free as independent country, or to be free with Ethiopia and with respect and the dignity, with a voice in that country. Until this is happen, we have no place to rest. So the movement should continue. Thank you again. Let's see the other videos. Okay, that's enough. Let's see. Okay, I have two short ones. One is protesters march in central London in solidarity with Palestine. I know there's a ceasefire is holding, is a good sign, but the protests still continue in support of Palestinians because the issue is not resolved. And let's see.
Because everything great is birthed through discord. Real empathy says, I see you, I feel you, I hear you.
Okay.
That's what truly matters.
There's a massive protest in support of Palestinians in central London. Free, free Palestine. Okay, this is the TPLF freedom fighters entering a city. You see? You see how they are accepted by the Tigrayan people? I don't know which city this one, but they are celebrating their arrival. Okay, the young. All lined up in longer lines. Okay, so the war is not over. TPLF is not done, as the Ethiopian government wants you to believe. And as long as there is public acceptance for the movement, you cannot kill TPLF. You cannot kill the movement. Yes, you can. You might have a military victory, temporary military victories. For a long term, you will not rule that region. You will not. That's why the United States and the European countries, please negotiate, stop the bloodshed. You cannot win the military. You cannot. There's gonna be a huge problem for that country. So they have to sit down, resolve the issue. What is the issue? Is it the power struggle between Prosperity Party and the TPLF? Yes. Prosperity Party want to control Ethiopia, and the TPLF say no. We need freedom, including independence of the region from Ethiopia, if necessary. So they have to negotiate, settle the conflict in Tigray region, plus other regions, especially the Oromo and the Oromia. Unless this is resolved, you might dream a lot of big dreams, but you will not have peace. No justice in Oromia, no justice in Tigray, or no justice everywhere. No peace in Ethiopia. That is a closing. You must negotiate. You must listen to Ethiopians and the global community to settle the issue of that country. If you want prosperity, dignity, freedom, justice, equality in that country, but no military dictatorship. No military dictatorship. Nobody will accept. You can kill as many you want, but you will not have a settled chair or palace you can relax. Always you are sitting on fire. So Abiy Ahmed chose to sit on fire and join himself with the Eritrean dictator Isaias Afewerki, who killed all opposition parties, who killed the constitution, who got no opposition, who created a problem for Eritreans to leave the country. So we don't want that to happen in Ethiopia. That's why this guy, Abiy Ahmed, must stay away from Isaias Afewerki. We don't get nothing from Isaias Afewerki, nothing good for the country, nothing. Yes, this conflict may be helping Isaias Afewerki, to diffuse tension between his country and the neighboring Tigray region. That may be advantageous for him. That's enough. That is enough. Let him stay in Eritrea, keep his freedom and his democracy there. We don't want it. We don't want to share with him. So, and the Palestinian issue, we appreciate the global support for Palestinians to end occupation, to end the expansion of Israeli into Palestinian territories, and to form a two-state solution immediately if possible. If not, Palestinians is going to continue losing the ground, because Israelis are calling to all Jewish around the world to come over there for that small space. It doesn't make sense. They have to stop that. If they don't have enough place to settle this they call the original Jewish. If you don't have space, why you call them? Why you call them? That is a source of conflict. And talk of 1967 is good. I think it's a very tough one, but we Palestinians should secure something happened like 2020, 2021, 2019, 2008. 1967 is too far. How much land is taken from there? Since 1960, a large area of Palestinians taken. So, stop right there, create a two-state solution, negotiate how to go back to 1967 border through time, because it's very tough for Israelis to take that, the 1967. It's all maybe half of Israel will gone. That will be accepted. So, and the Oromos again, please continue your movement. Don't slow down. Continue your resistance sign, because the pressure is not over. The dictator is still there. The killing squad is still there. People are dying in public view by killing squads, Abiy Ahmed order. All Oromo political prisoners are still there, and they are Abiy Ahmed is doing everything to keep them there through creating 146 witnesses plus, and through various extension of court system, plus the justice is broken. Even though the court let you free, you cannot be free. So the justice system is broken, the law and order is broken, and Abiy Ahmed believe in gun, order these security forces to kill anybody who resists him. So as long as this is continue, as long as Oromia is under occupation, and as long as Oromos are under oppressions, please continue your movement, support the movement, freedom fighters, with finance, with diplomatic activities, campaigning, whatever you can do. There is no time to slow down, and there is no time to argue against each other. That is my message for today. Thank you again for taking your time and to take part in Concerned Citizens Media broadcasting. Share with friends and family. So long, everyone. I will be back with other news and comments.